So hello everyone, welcome to my review of episode 5 of season 4 of Yowamushi Pedal or Glory Line, right? So yeah, I usually call it Glory Line, but anyway, I think it was like a really good episode. It was super intense. Intense is the word that fits this episode. I was like, for like 10 minutes, I was like, come on. That being said, though, this is not 10th episode. I mean, I would give the anime a 10 out of 10. 3 weeks in a row, right? Which I think is a really amazing for an anime. And I do, though, feel this episode is like an 8 or so in my scoring for two major reasons. Obviously, I did not like how it ended. I think that generally makes the story, in a sense, not being as strong. Not the episode's maybe episode's fault in itself, but like just the whole general story is kind of like, come on, really. Talk about it later though, and also just how long it was, right? The whole pacing there. So I think that just removed a point right away. Because even though the beginning episode was amazing, the beginning was really good. We see Naruko, which means Yoshi Pedal, right? There's suddenly Kuroda, the MVP Kuroda, black leg enters like, I'm gonna use my cat powers, so like just go into the wall and the blood just splashes on people. There's like an amazing scene, right? This flying blood slather on, he crashed into the ground, and it was like really, I had goosebumps. I was so in that moment. It felt really painful watching it. But it was an amazing scene. And in a sense, though, his like self-sacrifice and that gave Hakone the victory. It's not overly unsatisfying though, seeing that he was so into it and then made him win. So I'm kind of like I'm overly against it, but still though. But yeah, that scene was amazing. All of that. He has definitely grown quickly to be a great character. Absolutely. I mean, his flashback, I think, was probably the best flashback we saw this season. And generally, it was a great part of him, though. But that's the first half, though. Right? That's the first half, and it was amazing. It was if it kept that level of quality, it would be another 10 out of 10. But after that, while it was amazingly intense, you see all kinds like, I'm gonna win! We see Yoshi with the bug thing, that is weird. I mean, doing it with a straight line kind of thing when it flies, it's like, this is weird. And of course, Naruko was like, win, cuts, right? And of course, also, suddenly the Dark Horse enters and beats them. But I mean, generally though, that was great. And I mean, I had goosebumps, as mentioned, all the way through, it was super entertaining. Until, I would say, probably past or so the 5-minute mark, something like that. So, after roughly the first 10-minute episode, I mean, it's the whole Kuroda part, right? Oh, after that was over, then we get into this like cuts, win, cuts, and of course, as I mentioned, and that was just way too long, right? That was just way too long. So if anything, even if you disagree or not with what team should win, it should be Hakone, Soko, whatever, like, regardless of if you disagree on who should have won, obviously I will offer Naruko completely, but that part there was like almost 10 minutes of just like that was just way too long, right? So that unfortunately really pushed out the episode. They paced it horribly. Like it was, I say it again, for the first 5 or so minutes, 10 to 50 minutes of the episode after the Kuroda part, that was really intense, and I was super happy to see it. Yeah, it was really good. But after that, it was almost kind of ridiculous. Yeah, after that, it's just like it went from being amazing anime, like amazing entertaining show, right, into just like, this is just getting tedious now. This is just tedious. You'll be doing the exact same thing now for 5 minutes plus, right? You keep doing the thing, and especially when they started showing every other anime, every character in this anime, like that was horrible. That scene to me was just bad. Like that scene, I think it was like at minute 18, 19, maybe 17. That was just bad. So what happened there was, to clarify, right? They started having the win, and they kept doing it again forward, right? And eventually, you started showing like Onoda, the senpais, Manami, Komori. So every other character people in the anime had like a splash screen with them, a white background, and it was completely pointless because no one. The senpais were there, but senpais were there, but the other characters weren't even there, right? Like Onoda doesn't want, they couldn't see this thing. So these show like basically stock footage of these characters that aren't even there, and they're not really reacting to what you're seeing, right? Because we see Senpai, we see Sugimoto, we see his brother, we see Koga entering it, we see the general Kyoto Fushima guys, but we see those people that they're sharing see the audience. That is great. That's perfectly fine, obviously. But starting showing the other characters that aren't even there, and like their reaction to not being there. So what are they reacting to? They're like, oh yeah, intense. So like we can't even see this thing, right? So that was really bad in my opinion. Like really bad. Like honestly, that was just. I mean, it went from as I mentioned really good, and then like okay, pacing is bad now. Right? The pacing started to get bad and tedious, right? But then that happened, and that was like wow, that really sank the episode. So I think that for a minute or so there was just plainly bad because I like, why are you showing me the faces of every character? I mean, literally like every damn in the race, like Isha was there, yeah, everyone in the team was shown, right? Not everyone in the other guys, so like Dubasa was shown, but most people were shown for the team as well. Yeah, like everyone from Soko, half or so from Hakone, maybe like 4 or 6, and you know Komori and then like all the guys as well, and like the cheerleaders and like so. I was like. There showed like 20 people there. I was like, come on, like, this makes no sense whatsoever. It's like completely filling out a minute of time there for you showing like random photos, as I mentioned, random images, stock images of everyone else, right? So anyway, that was bad, really bad. So let's talk about the actual story then, right? So I mean, obviously the real story is who won. Everything else used up to that point. It's like Kuroda says himself, and then they win. But well, one thing I was here with Kuroda though, I mean, I really like the scene, and it's really amazing, you know, high quality, and yeah, he was just a great character, really MVP. But I will say this though, it doesn't make overly much sense though, logically wise. It doesn't, because he's injured now, right? He had blood on both shoulders, right? There's like bleeding here, and even before, you know, even before he crashes, you see him bleeding a lot. That is an amazing scene when he pushes away, and that's a really good scene there. And but yeah, like. After that, he loses balance, right? Flies into the wall. He injures even more. Gets like damage on his legs and arms and everything like that. I don't know. It kind of feels a little stupid, right? To be honest, like if you ignore the high, obviously the super high tension, the super good scene, but as a strategy, it's horrible because there's 2 more days, 2 more like full inter-height races, right? And they like, oh yeah, we got first place. But our, you know, ace, we call it like ace backup or like ace supporter there, we're like, yeah, he's injured now. Like he injured both shoulders and pretty much both legs and arms when he's flying around it. So he hurt like all his limbs are injured. It's like, I mean, there's a good scene, but there's something you do this last day, the race 3, like not race, the first race. So, I mean, it's a great scene, but it does feel kind of like, is really greedy to do that. So in that sense though, that they won is a little more meaningful because they sacrifice like a player to win there, and then they will lose the war, right? They won the battle, they lose the war because now they're injured, they have one of the 5 members left. Yeah, he has to rise next day, right? If I can remember the rules correctly, and I can't pretty sure that they have to use him for the next days, right? Because obviously Hakone has like, you know, a lot of people they can change, right? But that doesn't get allowed to change him, right? And he's obviously injured now. Like he's gonna be clearly weaker for the next 2 days, which is actually more important. So it's like, okay, but whatever though. That's in a way though. It comes with my last point, of course, and that is, man, they lost again, which I feel is like, yeah. So the big issue there for me is that's what I call it this video, you know, forced underdog, is that it doesn't make much sense to me. Also, again, the video called Kuroda Parties I'm talking about here, because he sacrifices himself though, it makes it less completely crazy, because he sacrificed himself so they could win, and then, you know, Naruko could lose things to be an underdog. It kind of connects, but at the same time, it's really forced because like Hakone, the best team, sacrificed kind of like one of the best players so they could win the actually not important first day, right? So to push the other guys. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like logically, it doesn't make any sense, right? So it's like they took this guy and they forced him to lose. That's how I feel. As like looking at it from a narrative standpoint, I really dislike that, right? And that's not more of an episode itself, but I just like, man, I really disliked how they could not win the mountain victory. That was ridiculous, right? How Teshima lost. That was really bad writing, in my opinion. It was horrible writing. But here at least, I can live with it they won, because Kuroda obviously, as I say again, he did a sacrifice thing, and that makes sense, right? So at least like it's logically possible they could win, or whatever you call it, like they physically can do it, but strategy-wise it makes no sense. So it's still like a huge, like forceful narrative from the author saying that, well, they offered a player to get the victory, so that's it. Like, and it's like, why would they do that? So I mean, it's bad, right? I think it's bad narrative forcing here. So what we have is that we have Soko, the main guys. They won last year. It's supposed to be the best team, right? They lost the sprint last season with like second. They lost the mountain race with like a second. Actually, should have won it. So, yeah, and they actually let them win. And then here again, they lost the race with second, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't think it makes any sense. Like, it's too. I think it's too much for me. It's a very much sport anime underdog thing here, where the main character usually is there. He's a bullied kid, right? He has no friends. He wants his sport, he's good at, and he gets friends, and everyone respects him and so on. It's like, I shield, Senan, etc., right? Unoda is that kid, right? He's bullied, but he has no friends and so on, right? Well, I am bullied him, but he kind of likes him now. But anyway, yeah, so they're the best loved in anime, definitely. But it's just, come on, man. I know they won last season, so you have to make them fight for it. See, that's a problem, right? It's so obvious that they're gonna win the last day, right? Because they are the main characters. So it's like, especially now, yeah. Like, if you look at it at 3 years of racing, they could go from, first year they win because the first manga and so on. The manga gets popular, okay, I make more manga. Second year they actually could lose, right? And the third year they could come back and get revenge, right? With some new characters like Suba's brother. But right now, I think it's very clear, in my opinion, they're absolutely gonna win year 2 as well, because like they won year 1 underdogs, massive underdogs, they win anyway. Year 2, everyone thinks they're gonna win, right? They're Hakone, but they lose everything the first day, so now they are underdogs again, so they can win the final, right? I think it's very, very forced narrative. I think it's poor writing, honestly. That they should be. Yeah, that they lose everything with like a second everywhere. So they look like big losers, but actually are just slightly like a second worse than the best guys. But it gives them the position of being underdog. So we can now root for them again as a standard anime, sport anime, where you have the underdog main character. Right? So it's very forced, I think. So in my opinion, I think it would be way more interesting if Naruko had won, right? They would have removed the underdog feel to it. They would have removed that, and they say, oh, it's bad. No, but it's not. Doesn't make any sense anymore. They won last year, so they can't be the underdog and also be the winners. They have to be one of them. They can't be both. Like they're exclusively mutual. Like they can't be both of them. So you have established that they are winners last year. So give up the underdog team, right? Like, it just makes sense. And make them losing 2 races and then winning the last one. Must be 2-1 in Hakone's favor. So it'd be like, yeah, they're kind of underdogs a little bit, but they still can win, that's good. No, it's like 3-0, it's like, come on, it's ridiculous. Like, they are very, very underdog again, but at the same time, it's just like, they're silly. Like, they're supposed to be better than this. Like, they're supposed to be, and we saw the second team, they actually should have won, right? So it's like, wow, yeah. So I think that's a big problem for me, generally in the storyline. So I'm disappointed in the thing, very disappointed in that thing. That is very, very forced narrative. And I guess the author disappointed me last season as well with the end of this, so, yeah. Not a big fan of it. And I think mainly it shows that they cannot lose the final day, right? Before I see them losing the final day, I can see them losing the final day, and then the next year they could win, right? So the third year they could win. But now it's like, as they lost everything day 1 here, as I mentioned earlier, they are gonna win everything day 3 because that's this thing there. So that irritates me. That to me, in my opinion, this removes some of the tension or some of the speculation, because I think the more underdogs they are, the more they're gonna win the final prize, right? So it's like, man, in my opinion at least. But anyway, hope that's the review. See you next week. Have a great day.